everybody. We're back in the car. Keith Jameson, Go Back Get a Guy 231 across the DFS industry. I warned that this was bound to happen. Days packed. If I don't record right now, I'm not recording till like 8 o'clock tonight, 9 o'clock. And a lot of people may or may not be around to enjoy the content. So not going to be able to have the formations, but I'll kind of go through them, go through all the players, go through the plays. This is a really interesting slate. And we're talking about Wednesday slate. So we got big favorites. Spain, huge favorite, close to minus 700. We've got Germany minus 200-ish in the middle there. And then Belgium in the same, minus 150 to minus 200. So some marquee players. I think while today was like a really straightforward build, even with Kosrig out, you just had a little bit of value. But, it's building around the France pieces. They're yet to kick off as I'm recording this. It's about 1:46. But I think France is going to smash. We haven't had a goal yet. My type of slate. I'm doing very well when there are not goals from like guys like Lewandowski, who, if you watch yesterday's episode, was a hard fade. Probably would have made it look terrible if he made that PK, but otherwise it looks great. Ericsson did great this morning, so it's been a good day. Let's just jump into the games. Quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment to the video. If you enjoy this content, it's the best way that you can tell me that you enjoy it is by doing that. And if you're interested in joining FSI, make sure you check out the link, $40. We're going to leave that open through the end of tomorrow. And then it's just going to go week by week. So through the end of tomorrow, jump on board. Every single slate, every showdown, every late slate, every morning slate. For the 5 a.m. slates, I'm not going to go over the 5 a.m. game. What I'm doing is just the night before. Everybody seemed to be pretty okay with that. West Coast people aren't really waking up early. If I would have woken up this morning, it would have been a disaster because I was more on Argentina than anything. So that was a crazy upset. So anyhow, everything, with the exception of the 5 a.m.s, that's just a little crazy. All right, let's just get into it. So first game, Japan versus Germany. I'm going to do a chalk opinion and then a GPP opinion. Joshua Kimmich and cash is easy. Taking close to Monopoly. With David Rahm's in, David Rahm can snipe some sets. So that kind of lowers Kimmich a little bit. I think he's easy for cash. I don't really feel comfortable attacking the slate with Germany as a commanding favorite without Joshua Kimmich, who's arguably top 3 best midfielder in the world. I think him, KDB, I'm blanking right now, but those are the two that immediately come to mind as just being the best midfielders. I don't really want to go without Kimmich. But in GPP, he is one of the first people I'm fading. He's 8,700. His floor is not going to kill you. He's going to get 8 to 12 floor points. If he gets a goal or assist or multiples of those things, you're dead in GPP. But he's going to be so high owned that you can see an outcome that he just hits his floor. If he hits 8 to 10 at 8,700 with the amount of guys on the slate, you can fit more Spain. You can fit Belgium attack. You can fit German attack. If you fade Kimmich, I'm going to be big on fading Kimmich in GPP. We'll see how that goes. Cash, I think he's a lock. GPP, I really like the fade. David Rahm is a really good cash play as well, 5,700. Incredibly active crosser, even for Germany. He also does it for Leipzig. Has a chance at some set pieces. I think those two are very, very much short list cash consideration. From then, Germany gets really difficult. Musiala is going to be one of the young players of the tournament. I think he has a really good shot to break out here. I really like his price at 7,000. He probably doesn't fit a lot of cash builds, but really like him in GPP. And then the rest of the attack is really, really tough. Are they going to start Gnabry? Are they going to start Kai? Are they going to start Hoffman? Moore should play as the 10. Moore loves World Cup. So I really want to get some exposure to Moore in GPP. But all these things are so much easier when you don't have Kimmich, because I'll just fast forward ahead. We're going to be locking KDB at 9,500. I think he is by far the play of the slate. I'm not fading him in any format. KDB is everywhere. And then in Spain, they're minus 700. And you just look at their lineup and you just go, I don't really want to play him. I don't really want to play him. You start going, I really don't want to play them. But we also know Costa Rica is one of the weakest teams in the tournament. Spain is going to be dominant, absolutely dominant. And what we've also seen in World Cups and Euros with Spain is when they're super dominant and they're not scoring, then all of a sudden the peripherals can go up. So I'll talk about their lineup soon, but I want some Spain. So all of a sudden I come back to the German game, first game out of the slate too. I'm going to have a very, very high owned, high-ish floor guy, but he's not like Ericsson, right? He's not as attacking as Ericsson. He's not, like Mbappe or anything like that. He's a defensive midfielder that's going to rely on set pieces, and he might not even have Monopoly. I think it's a strong fade. Tilo Kerr is probably going to start right back. He's not that attack-minded. You could see Hoffman back there. I just think the good part about Germany is we're going to see the lineup early. I'll give you one guy I would really like that I think will be low-owned. I don't think he'll start, though. I think they're going to start Ilkay Gundogan, who's fine. He shows up. I would really like them to start Goretzka, 6,100. I don't think he'd get owned at all, but he'd be a really good GPP target. Yeah, there's nobody in Germany of those attackers that are a bad play. There's a lot that are expensive. And I just wonder if they're the best use of salary. Japan's not a pushover. Let's go to Japan. They have some cheap forward punts that I'm really debating. Like, this is the first time I've jumped onto a preview and not really like knowing exactly how I was gonna build. Kubo is a Real Madrid loanee. Kubo is just a sensational player. He should take at least half the sets, depending on if Ito starts, depending on if Kamada starts. Minamino doesn't really take set pieces. Then I've also seen some predictions, like on SofaScore, they have Maeda, the Celtic forward, starting up top at 3,700. Look, German's defense has been leaky. They play a very high line. We know Neuer is not afraid to sweep. Neuer wants that high line because he's very confident himself in the back line. But sometimes, there's going to be opportunities. Germany gives up shots. So, I don't think like these German or these Japan forwards are terrible plays. But it's also like, I don't know if I want to lock any of them in the first game of the slate either. So, Japan has some just okay plays, but nobody like just jumps off the page at me. If anybody did, it's probably Kubo. But let's just see that lineup. Their fullbacks are not going to be crossing. That's just not their DNA, how they play. They don't cross the ball nearly a ton. Most of their crosses aren't going to come in open play either, especially with like Sule and Rudiger back there. Like, open play crosses are just going to get cleared out every single time. So Japan's going to go more on the ground, which is not great for DFS. So I don't really want to lock in any of their fullbacks, despite how cheap they are. I'd almost prefer Spain's center back over them. Yeah, so it's just like Kubo, Maeda. You could convince me to Kamada. I'd probably just go for the goal scoring, or like if I'm going to do it, like the set pieces with Kubo, who also just, is live for goal. All right, let's go to Costa Rica and Spain. Let me just say with Costa Rica, I'm not playing anybody. They're not going to have the ball. They might score. We've seen that on Spain, right? Spain, funny enough, does not keep nearly as many clean sheets as we expect for the amount of possession they have. But you are going to get no points for any offensive activities outside of like a random goal. If you're gonna play a guy, probably Joe Campbell. He's a Costa Rican legend. Takes almost all their set pieces, but I'm not doing it. It's not. That's the Costa Rica's a cross out. The only play, a good play, Keylor Navas, World Cup hero, much like Ochoa today, who like these guys that just show up in the World Cup and they know what they're doing and they just rise to the occasion. Could see Keylor Navas being that. So I love Keylor Navas in goal. I'm trying to debate if I want to punt that or go up, but we've seen Spain struggle, so I like Keylor Navas as a cheap punt goalie. Let's talk about Spain. Let me actually just talk about the surprising guy that I think is a really good cash play. Alvaro Morata is starting. Storm and I have talked about this back to the Euros. We're always surprised actually how decent his floor is. He does a lot of hold-up play where he draws fouls, takes shots, has goal equity. I mean, his floor a lot of times has been showing up in that 7 to 10 range for Spain. And then you have the goal equity, sub 8K. I'm not confident about a lot of forwards, so get the striker that actually has a little bit of a floor. Now it's a non-traditional floor, it's not a crossing floor or sets. I kind of like that with Morata. So Morata, very much short list for cash consideration. Everything else with Spain is going to depend on the lineup. Sarabia has been starting a ton for Spain. He's not in the prediction that I saw on Sofa, but I'd be surprised if he didn't. He normally takes set pieces. I really wish he was 4 eligible, but he's mid-7s. I think he's pretty solid. I saw Ferran Torres and Ansu Fati, both good plays, both expensive, more than Morata. Torres could take some sets depending on who's out there. Like, this is how I would say the set pecking order goes, okay? Sarabia in, then you've got Marcos Asensio, who I really want to be in because he's sub 6K. If Asensio's in, he's a lock for me, especially I think he was forward eligible. But yeah, that would make things easy. Then probably like Torres, Soler range on the sets. And then like if all of them aren't in and Koke's in, I don't even know if Koke's on the team, but he used to take in the Euros. Spain sets are a mess. But that's how they would kind of run out. Jordi Alba at left back always mashes in these spots. He's expensive. He's more expensive than Rom. He's like 6,100. Doesn't have a set share, but he just is going to bomb forward. So I like Alba. Carvajal at 5K is probably a better point per dollar play. Gavi or Pedri. Oh, sorry. So in that range for sets, Pedri is definitely there on that second run. So it's like Sarabia, Asensio, and then it's like Torres, Pedri, Soler. But those guys can kind of kill you too because they can become set dependent, and then they just do a lot of square passing. They don't get a lot of shots, or they don't have like a ton of goal upside. So that's how they would run. Center backs should be, from my understanding, it was supposed to be Torres and Laporte. But if Eric Garcia's in, Eric Garcia stinks. He's not a very good footballer, but he's 3,200. He's probably gonna get 120 passes here with clean sheet equity. So that almost puts like a very decent shot of like 4 to 5 DK floor, and then if you get any sort of tackles or fouls drawn or interceptions in there, now all of a sudden you're kind of cooking. So I don't hate him. And then Simone should be the goalie, most expensive goalie in the slate. He's fine. So yeah, just Spain like would actually be the team that I prefer to be first, because I think that there's the most uncertainty with their lineup and their set pieces. But at least they're second. At least if I don't lock too much up, I can use Spain, and then I have Belgium coming at the end that, might have a few pieces. So let's go to Canada and Belgium. Belgium is slight favorite. KDB lock in every single format. He's taking a monopoly of set pieces. Yes, he could give away 1 or 2 to like Carrasco, but nobody else is going to fight him for sets. I think from a GP, there's 2 plays for Belgium I think are really intriguing, and they're not my normal type of plays, but I find them intriguing. Eden Hazard, I think, is going to has a really good shot to show out. He has not been playing much at all, obviously, for Real Madrid, the last 3 years, but he's a different player when he plays for Belgium. I don't know his fitness, but don't be surprised if Eden Hazard shows up with a goal or assist here, at lowish ownership, especially in the last game. So I really like him for GPP. And then I don't think it's crazy. This sucks to say out loud. And on a YouTube channel where, thank you everybody, but we're getting like really good views, 700 to 800 views on these videos today. But I don't think, if you see me show up with Michy Batshuayi and Alvaro Morata, those are like the last type of people you ever see my type of cash field show up. I don't think it's crazy. Batshuayi, 6,100. Lukaku's not fit. Belgium's a decent favorite. He has great, creative people with Hazard and De Bruyne and Carrasco and Tielemans all kind of playing for him. I don't think Batshuayi at 6,100 is a bad play whatsoever. So I am interested in him. Those are the 3 Belgium I want to play. I don't really want to play everybody else. I think Witzel's at half decent punt. It's low 3Ks if you just had a spot open. Castagne doesn't cross the ball a ton at 4,700. Carrasco's overpriced at like mid 6,000s. Good players, but they're not they don't have a lot of freedom in the Belgium system. The Belgium system at this point is really about getting space for KDB and Hazard to run at people. And that's why I don't hate Batshuayi either, because he just needs to kind of pick his spot, let those 2 do their thing, and potentially poach a goal. I will just say the outside center backs for Belgium aren't bad. Vertonghen's too expensive at 4,200, but if you see like Zeno De Bass play, I think he's 2,800 or 3,000, or Wout Face. They kind of have a little bit of freedom to go forward, so I don't think that's a terrible punt if you need to punt the second defender. That should cover Belgium. Let's just talk about Canada real quick. Alphonso Davies does everything for Canada. He's just way too expensive on the slate, 7,500 as a defender. Like, I wish he was like 5,500. I think that would be really intriguing and make me pause and go, I kind of want to play him. But at 7,500, considering the odds, considering the other plays I need to prioritize, I just can't get there with Davies. But he takes almost all their set pieces, especially with Steven Esquisito, I think is how you say his name. He normally will split or take some, but I heard he's out. I don't know if that's updated, but that was a few days ago. Really important midfielder for them that I think it's going to really hurt Canada here. He's been one of their best players in qualifying. He's been playing great for Porto. So I think that's a big hurt for Canada. So it should be like Davies and Tejan Buchanan as like wingbacks. I've heard like Loria could be on there too, and Buchanan up forward. I don't remember their prices just because I wasn't interested in them, but those guys are okay. They're okay. That's the best I can say for them. They're okay. If you want to go way off the board, but some talented attackers, both Jonathan David and Kyle Larin can show up for goals. Belgium has, we just saw Belgium. Who was it? Who was that stupid showdown that they conceded to? I can't even remember. Not a good team. So Belgium's not exactly coming in great form. So you could go there as well. All right, that'll be due. Enough babbling for me. A little bit longer. This is what happens when I have to try to recall formations in my head as we're going along. But hope that this helps. Again, if you enjoy these videos, like, subscribe, comment. Really does help. And then also just do me a favor and if you, I've got a phone call. That's cutting it. The favor you can ask to do for me is like and comment on the video so more people can see it. Thank you guys so much. That'll say. See you.